Suede Connection. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi!
So I got you off guard on that one, huh?
That was awesome. I've never heard that.
That was in Culver City, California, on this set when they were doing all the stuff for Elvis. That's the way it is.
Oh, wow.
I guess they were just warming up, and he felt a little Latin for the moment and decided to go into.
That's awesome.
He's having a good time there. Now we're in Mexico, obviously, and we always like to share information. So give us a little insight into Elvis and all over the world, Elvis.
You know, first we have to just say, for maybe a new fan listening or someone who doesn't know much about Elvis, that he never did tour outside of the U.S. and Canada.
Right.
But he dreamed about it.
Yes.
And he loved the world. And he would have been just one of those fabulous performers that was loved everywhere.
And he listened to music from all these different countries.
Yes.
He loved it all.
He loved it all, yep. And so if you go to Graceland.com, it's kind of interesting. They talk about how if you tour Graceland, and this is true because we've been there, how the area represents Elvis's love around the world. For instance, if you go into the record room where the platinum gold records are, and there's countries in that award room that are represented like Norway, Yugoslavia, Japan, Australia, South Africa, England, Sweden, Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and of course our friends in Canada. And, you know, outside of the 3 shows he did in Canada in 1957, unfortunately, Elvis just never got to live out his dream.
Right.
But he's known and loved throughout the world by just that one name.
Right. Well, he's going to tell you right here how he did want to do it in other countries.
There's so many places that I haven't been yet. Like, I've never played New York. I've never been to Britain either. I'd like it to. I'd like to go to Europe. I'd like to go to Japan and all those places. I've never been out of this country except in the service.
Elvis the Traveler, we're in Mexico right now, and here's some interesting information. Did you know Mexico produces more Velvet Elvis paintings than any other region?
No, yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me.
You want to get your Velvet Elvis on, head over to Mexico and check it out.
Go.
Mexico has a famous ETA. You know what his name is?
Oh, yes, I've heard it before.
Elvis.
Elvis, that's...
Well, you know, his 13th film was Fun in Acapulco, which was released in 1963. Howard Thomas of the New York Times said, compared to the Beatles, Elvis sounds like Caruso, which opened yesterday in neighborhood theaters, and he certainly looks better than Caruso. In fact, the attractive travel poster for the famed Mexican resort is far and away his best musical feature to date. It's pleasant, idyllic movie that never takes itself seriously and moves briskly under Richard Thorpe's direction. The excellent color photography and balmy atmosphere of the resort and the luxury hotels, the beaches, and all that good stuff are quaint byways, but were passionately eye-popping.
Oh, yeah.
And Variety said this, Presley fans won't be disappointed. He sings 10 decent songs and even wiggles a little bit to the beat.
Yeah, I love the music from that show.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's one of the silly, fun movies, as we like to call them, and it delivers. You want to get in a good mood, just like this show puts you in a good mood? Fun in Acapulco do that.
There you go, baby.
All right, we left the tropical islands of Acapulco, Mexico. Now we're back on U.S. soil, and we're in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right, nice.
Where the movie King Creole, most of it was actually filmed there.
Yeah.
His 4th film, and his favorite of all of his films.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking King Creole, filmed in 1957, before he got drafted, and went into the U.S. military. In fact, he had to get special permission to finish the film before they cut the sideburns and the hair and took him away.
Yeah.
But, you know, you and I just recently went to New Orleans.
Oh, I loved it there, yeah.
And we had a good time. No, the funny thing is, we were on Bourbon Street. And we kind of liked it. I mean, the vibe, you got to do it when you're in New Orleans. You got to go to Bourbon Street.
Right.
But you and I kept thinking, where's like the nice restaurants? And we didn't know they existed. We thought, well, I guess this is all there is.
No.
So after spending an hour or two there, we got in our car and drove around. We found this gorgeous section in New Orleans of great restaurants. So we said we're going to go back.
Places, yeah. The Garden District, Royal Street, wonderful art. And it's beautiful. And much more to my taste, being an older person now than Bourbon Street.
All right. Well, Bourbon Street has its vibe and it's fun. We went to some places and had some Coca-Colas.
It's for some youngins, you know.
We didn't have Coca-Colas, did we?
I didn't have a Coca-Cola. Did you have a Coca-Cola?
No.
I think you had something called Big A Beer.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't say what the A stood for, but that's what it was called. All right, well, anyway, we're in Louisiana. We're in New Orleans, so let's get a little bluesy, let's get a little rock and rolly and do some King Creole tunes. Every Elvis film has to have that pretty love song, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that was clearly the one from King Creole. Well, baby, we've been to Mexico. We've been to Bourbon Street in New Orleans. We just left
Favorite?
there. Now we're hopping a flight way across the water to China.
Oh, okay.
We're headed to China. Now, here's a little bit of information on China and Elvis Presley. This is going to be new to you, I'm sure.
Okay.
I like sharing things that the brain over there doesn't know about.
Okay.
In the late 1950s and early 60s, Elvis was at his peak as millions of fans from the U.S. fell in love with the man with his groovy tunes and his groovy hip-shaking moves. Okay, but on the other side of the world, Chinese leaders raised concern about the king of rock and roll.
All right.
And the government's first action was to denounce the popular music genre as pornography.
Oh.
They did not like him in China. They were one of the only places in the world that did not release Elvis music at the time it was originally put out.
Okay.
They wasn't going to have anything to do with Elvis Presley.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, Andreas Nelson, the managing director of the BMG Pacific, said this. He said the Hong Kong-based company that eventually distributed the albums in that country, they just wasn't into it. During the Cultural Revolution in China, the Elvis fans who did manage to sneak their hands on some of his records often saw them materialize in a blaze.
Underground,
by the
probably.
Red Guards. They were set them on fire, and you were arrested if you had Elvis records or any rock and roll records. But that didn't stop the Cat King, as he was better known in China, from raising to the top of the charts in the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, India, Singapore as well.
Yeah, baby.
So he was doing well over there, and he's also huge in Hong Kong. Finally, in 1977, Elvis's classic 1958 album Golden Hits was released in China, with hit songs like Jailhouse Rock, All Shook Up, and Heartbreak Hotel on. All 20,000 cassette tapes were sold out in less than a day, and in its initial release and the later another 30,000 were pre-sold on the second scheduled run.
Wow.
So the king finally made it to China and kicked butt as he did everywhere else.
Nice.
You like that stuff right there?
I love it.
Hey TL, I think Elvis fans are starting to catch on to Blue Suede Connection.
What's not to love, Daniel? 2 hours of great Elvis music, lots of fun. It's our own private party.
And we want everybody to be part of the party. Hear all the hits, rare cuts, and lots of surprises too.
We are your Blue Suede Connection.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And hit that notification bell.
We are your Blue Suede Connection.